And good afternoon. Welcome to the News at 4. I'm Kim Fields.
I'm Dee Sarton. This afternoon, we're hearing from the man who was stabbed repeatedly while raking his yard in southeast Boise last November.
He, along with more than 100 people, were at a ceremony today honoring the Boise police corporal who saved his life that day. Our Shira Matsuzawa is in the newsroom with what he had to say and a look at the ceremony. Shira.
Dee and Kim, that ceremony honored several members of the Boise Police Department. Boise Mayor Dave Beater was also there, but today was the first time we heard from both the victim and the corporal involved in that stabbing. Gratitude and recognition were on full display at City Hall West Wednesday, as more than 100 people honored those who protect and serve.
For our next, this is a Silver Star presentation.
Among those honored, Boise Police Corporal Brek Orton, who saved 74-year-old Gary Vincenhaler from what could have been a deadly stabbing last November.
When Corporal Orton arrived, the suspect was standing over our victim. His head and upper body were completely covered in blood.
Vincenhaler presented Corporal Orton with the Silver Star Award.
I wouldn't be here today to present this award if it hadn't been for his action. So I thank him very much, and I don't know how you thank somebody for saving your life, but that's what he did for me.
Seeing Mr. Vincenhaler here was pretty emotional. So I mean, that in and of itself was recognition enough.
For the first time, we're hearing about that stabbing from the victim himself.
I was out in the yard just raking my leaves, and this fellow came down the sidewalk, and he looked like he was lost or something, so I tried to help him.
He says he eventually realized that something wasn't quite right about the man who approached him and went to call police.
While I was in the house, I heard a noise in the house, and I looked down the hallway, and he was in the house. I thought, I've got to get out of the house somehow. And so I just walked past him as quick as I could, out the front door, and he followed me. And at that time, somewhere he pulled this big long knife, and he grabbed me and started cutting on this side of the face here.
Vincenhaler tried to fight back.
I finally had to grab the blade with my left hand, and it got cut up pretty bad, so it doesn't work too good.
When the initial call came out, it was so surreal to where it almost sounded like it was made up. And one of the updates was that he was cutting his throat, and another update was that he was trying to saw off his head in the driveway.
As I was fighting him off, pretty soon Brek Orton showed up.
And as I jumped out of my car, I immediately started to give him commands. At that point, I thought it was going to be a shoot scenario, and thankfully I was able to maneuver myself in between Mr. Vincenhaler and him.
Corporal Orton then repeatedly tased the suspect, but because of his thick jacket, the suspect would repeatedly get back up. Eventually, other officers arrived and were able to subdue the suspect. That November day, now forever etched in both men's memory.
I try to portray myself as a big tough guy, and when you actually see the person whose life he impacted, it's pretty tough to hold back the tears.
I owe him my life. If he hadn't arrived when he did, I probably wouldn't be here.
Vincenhaler says other than his scars, he is feeling pretty good mentally, and physically he's back to where he was before this happened. By the way, this is Corporal Orton's 5th Silver Star Award.
Is that right?